Today, we're diving deep into an astonishing discovery that has left archaeologists and historians puzzled. Ancient, terrifying cave carvings in Egypt have been found to match symbols mysteriously located thousands of miles away in Australia. Could these markings suggest an ancient connection between civilizations long before we ever imagined? Or is there a hidden meaning behind these eerie symbols? Join us as we uncover the fascinating links, unravel ancient mysteries, and explore what this means for the history we thought we knew. Get ready for a journey through time, continents, and secrets hidden in stone. The Carian hieroglyphs, commonly known as the Gosford Glyphs, are a collection of around 300 engravings in Egyptian style found in Carian, Australia. These glyphs are situated in a region renowned for its Aboriginal rock art, nestled between Gosford and Woy Woy in New South Wales, within the confines of Brisbane Water National Park. Discovered in the 1970s, these glyphs have been largely dismissed as a modern fabrication by experts and authorities, despite ongoing claims that they were crafted by ancient Egyptians around 4,500 years ago. Initial rumors of Egyptian-style glyphs in the area date back to the 1920s. However, a representative from the National Parks and Wildlife Service noted that awareness of these engravings emerged in the early 1980s, which aligns with the period they are believed to have been created. In this video, we're going to take a look at the story these hieroglyphs tell, and you can make up your own mind regarding the authenticity of these hieroglyphs. The glyphs feature representations of boats, chickens, dogs, owls, simplistic human figures, and a dog's bone. Notably, they include two cartouches resembling the names of Egyptian kings. One identified as Khufu, the second king of the 4th dynasty, reigning from 2637 to 2614 BC, and the other is uncertain. Both names are presented with personal and throne names. Additionally, there is an engraving of Anubis, the ancient Egyptian deity. The glyphs are in an extremely ancient style used in early dynasties in Egypt. Early dynastic Egypt was between 3100 and 2600 BC, which most Egyptologists aren't taught to read. The majority of hieroglyphic discoveries that we know today have hieroglyphs written in the Middle Egyptian style upward, between 2040 to 1700 BC. The classic Egyptian dictionaries only handle Middle Egyptian, but there are a few people alive today who can read and translate the early dynasty's stories. Ray Johnson, an Australian Egyptologist well-versed in the style of early dynasties, who himself translated ancient texts for the Museum of Antiquities in Cairo, deciphered these hieroglyphs, and this is the story they tell. The Rockwalls Chronicle, a tragic saga of ancient explorers shipwrecked in a strange and hostile land, and the untimely death of their royal leader. The hieroglyphic text was apparently written under the instruction of the ship's captain, due to a corner glyph displaying the title of High Official or Chief Priest. From the 3rd dynasty, which was between 2660 to 2610 BC, a group of 3 cartouches record the name of Rajadev as reigning king of the Upper and Lower Nile and son of Khufu, who, in turn, is the son of the king Sneferu. Lord Khufu was the reputed builder of the Great Pyramid. The scribe is speaking for His Highness, the Prince Lord Jezeb, and he wrote the following. For 2 seasons he made his way westward, weary but strong to the end, always praying, joyful, and smiting insects. He, the servant of God, said God brought the insects, have gone around hills and deserts, in wind and rain, with no lakes at hand. He was killed while carrying the golden falcon standard, up front in a foreign land, crossing mountains, desert, and water along the way. He who died before is here, laid to rest. May he have life everlasting. He is never again to stand beside the waters of the sacred myrrh. The second facing wall, which was much more seriously eroded, details the tragedy further. This wall begins with a badly eroded glyph of a snake, heft, with a glyph of jaws, to bite, and a symbol for twice. The snake bit twice. Those followers of the dividing Lord Khufu, mighty one of the Lower Egypt, Lord of the two adzes, shall not return. We must go forward and not look back. All the creek and riverbeds are dry, typical for Australia. Our boat is damaged and tied up with rope. Death was caused by a snake. We gave egg yolk from the medicine chest and prayed to Amun, the hidden one, for he was struck twice. Burial rituals, prayers, and preparations are described. We walled in the side entrance to the chamber with stones from all around. We aligned the chamber with the western heavens. The three doors of eternity were connected to the rear end of the royal tomb and sealed in. We placed beside it a vessel, the holy offering, should he awaken from the tomb. Separated from home is the royal body and all others, and so the chronicle of the son of a succumbed to death by one of the many fatal venomous snakes may lie in the land of Australia. May being the key word here. Alan Dash, a local surveyor for Gosford Council, formally reported the carvings in 1975. He had frequented the area for 7 years without noticing the glyphs, and upon subsequent visits over 5 years, he observed new glyphs each time. Before their discovery, the site was concealed by sand, rocks, and overgrown vegetation. In 1983, David Lambert, a rock art conservator with the National Parks and Wildlife Service, found freshly cut hieroglyphs that he estimated to be less than a year old. The site gained public attention from the mid-1990s onwards. Amateur Egyptologists have claimed these hieroglyphics to be authentic, dating back 4,500 years, supposedly created by Egyptians who reached Australia and recorded their ordeal in stone after a shipwreck. Professor Boyo Okinga highlighted several reasons for doubting their authenticity. He pointed out the disorganized manner and incorrect cutting technique, unlike ancient Egyptian rock inscriptions. Additionally, the glyphs used symbols that were developed much later than the era of Khufu. He speculated that the glyphs might have been created in the 1920s by Australian soldiers influenced by the widespread interest in ancient Egypt, following the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. These soldiers, having served in Egypt, might have been inspired to create shapes resembling the Sphinx and a pyramid. Professor Naguib Kanawati, an Australian Egyptologist, also dismissed their authenticity, suggesting they were made in the early 1980s. He noted inconsistencies in the hieroglyphs, with symbols from different periods and some carved backwards. Other theories suggest they were the work of high school students in the 1970s, or a Yugoslavian immigrant interested in Egyptology in the early 1980s. Geologists have observed that the sandstone erodes quickly, and nearby 250-year-old Aboriginal petroglyphs show significantly more erosion. So, what do you think? Was this a legitimate ancient Egyptian story, or were these hieroglyphs carved out by a troll? I'll leave it up to you to decide. Thanks for diving into the mysteries of these ancient cave carvings with us. The connection between Egypt and Australia is truly mind-blowing, raising more questions than answers. If you enjoyed unraveling these ancient mysteries, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible discoveries. Let us know in the comments, what do you think these symbols mean? And how do you think they traveled across continents? Stay tuned for our next exploration into the unknown. Until then, keep wondering and keep discovering.